Am I the a-hole for selling my PS5 rather than sharing it with my stepbrothers? Original post. My 15-male mom and dad met and briefly dated while they were both studying at uni. My mom gave birth to me after they had broken up and had sued my dad for child support. I was raised by my mom. It had virtually nothing to do with my dad throughout my childhood. My mom was an international student, and her family cut ties with her due to the circumstances of my birth. Tragically, 2 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer, and thus I was placed under the care of my dad. My dad is remarried and has 2 sons, 5 and 7, with his wife. It wasn't a bad arrangement at first, but we were all essentially strangers. I was given a bedroom to myself and we shared some meals, but other than that, kept to myself. About 10 months ago, I was lucky enough to score a casual job at an aged care facility as IT support. It was stupid easy money as it involves installing and maintaining a dozen or so common PCs used by the residents, plus running basic computing workshops. I ended up accruing a whole lot of disposable income in a short time. Stupidly, instead of just keeping quiet about it, I decked out my room with a new TV, headphone, and a PS5. Obviously, the setup was of great interest to my 2 stepbrothers. Initially, my rule was that they could play the PS5 anytime I wasn't using it, but I would get first dibs if I wanted to play or use my TV. I was also super accommodating by buying an extra controller, which I didn't need, and several kid-friendly games that they wanted to play. I eventually had to change the rule to only play when I was there, because the 5-year-old destroyed one of my controllers through spilling juice on it. This is where the drama started. They whined to my parents, who then ordered me to place the PS5 in the living room. I refused, stating that I had purchased it with my own money. This led to their argument that I have too much money and should contribute rent, utilities, and food money. I called their bluff and said, sure, drop a contract and I'll get a lawyer to review it to ensure it complies with the Family Law Act. My dad then told the boys that he was going to buy a separate PS5 for the boys for Christmas, but the dude is clueless about the global shortage. Finally, last night, after realizing that he had zero chance of buying one for close to recommended retail price, my dad threatened me to either voluntarily gift my PS5 to the boys for Christmas, or he would toss it in the bin while I was at school. I was so pissed that I went on Facebook Marketplace and sold a PS5. The boys found out today and were devastated. I feel really bad because they shouldn't be punished for this crap show. My parents are in their room talking about me, and I'm sitting here in my room. Am I the a-hole? How could I have handled this better? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. You bought it with your own money and aren't obligated to share it. The fact that you did in the first place was very generous given PS5s are like gold dust, and your brothers clearly weren't careful when using it. Not even that. He was willing to continue sharing it as long as they used it as he was home, because his brother broke an $80 controller. Not the a-hole. Keep saving your money so you can get out of there as soon as possible. Do not let them have access to your accounts, and do not pay rent or bills. If you have somewhere else you can stay, maybe chase those leads. I'm sorry you had to do that, but you were right to. Your father and his wife sound awful. This is important, because they seem to think they have the right to your money already. So if it's a joint account, they may just take what they think they have the right to. If you have a joint account with them, talk to the bank about the issue now and ask what they can do for you. I hope he sounds like he's in Australia, in which case there would be no problem with him having an independent bank account. Now for the first update, December 18. Wow, this blew up overnight. Firstly, thanks to all the kind strangers out there giving me your positive encouragement and support. It's quite humbling that so many of you took time to read my story and chose to provide positive support. Some people were after an update of the situation. I'm at work now, but my stepmom had a chat with me this morning and it was quite positive. She said she didn't know about my existence until right before I came to live with them, and so it caused a huge rift between her and dad. She apologized for projecting that onto me and not being more welcoming. She also didn't know about my dad's threats and told me that it won't happen on her watch. My stepbrothers also admitted to her about the juice incident. She said that she is going to get the boys a Switch for Christmas, and she offered to pay me the difference between RRP and getting a new PS5. It probably won't take the money, but at least it's a step forward. This was the longest conversation I have ever had with her too, by the way. No comments from my dad yet. Lol. To answer some common questions. 1. My bank account is entirely in my name only. Australia. No one else has ability to view or access the balance. I actually don't think my dad's demand for rent was about money. They both earn a good salary. He's just butthurt that I'm not reliant on his money. 2. Yes, I really am 15. Lol. I typed out my post in Word and so that it could be spell and grammar checked. Maybe that's what confused people? 3. I got 27.50 Australian dollars an hour on a casual contract, with additional loading for weekends. The operations manager at the aged care facility is super chill and allows me to schedule my hours around school. I just have a cap that I can't go over. She lets me do my homework on the clock and I get free meals from the cafeteria. If I help the residents and on facility devices, they usually tip me, and cashiers sometimes cookies. Lol. I've got a fair bit saved up because I don't really have any expenses. 4. I've got a shoebox of documents from when my mom passed. I think my mom's assets is looked after by a trustee firm, which will be turned over to me at 18. The law firm managing the will had previously explained this to me, but I wasn't really paying attention at the time. I've got to still go through everything. 5. I sold PS5 for a tidy profit, even with the cost of the damaged controller. I'm not desperate for one at the moment, so I'll just sign up for a waiting list again so I won't need to take up my stepmom's offer. Thanks again for the love, everyone. Your stepmom sounds lovely. I'm glad you were able to have a chat. You sound very responsible with money. Your dad needs to get over his pride and ego and be proud of you. He also needs to start communicating. To not have told your stepmom about you is really awful. He seems too focused on his image than his family. Good resolution. Of course, your dad is still the a-hole. But stepmom really stepped up and your stepbrothers are just annoying little brothers like anybody else's. Not lying or manipulative, so there's that. They just know that your dad will take up for them. Do try and build a relationship with stepbrothers. Later in life, good relationships are hard to come by, and your stepmom is a really nice person. Amazing update. I'm sorry the last 2 years have been so hard. Your dad is totally the a-hole for not telling his wife anything about having a whole other kid. Now for the second update, December 19. So we've got a gathering with the extended family today. This is the first time I've met any of them due to COVID, and they're all been super lovely to me. My stepmom showed them my original post and they are all getting stuck into dad. My uncle, dad's younger brother, has set up a Reddit account for him, and he's doubling down as he thinks Redditors will take his side when they read his account of it. I'm not going to link or read his post, but people have been telling me it's quite a bloodbath. Now for the final update. I think I just have to do one more to close everything off. There's a lot of emotions running through me right now, so I'm sorry for rambling a bit. Firstly, I'm immensely grateful to all the Redditors who reached out to me to voice your support or to make sure that I'm okay. I'm very touched. Secondly, I got to meet and spend time with my extended family today. There were over 40 of them here. They're a rowdy bunch, but they are amazing. They really made me feel welcome. Some of my cousins are gamers too, so there was an instant connection. In terms of family, it's been mostly mom and I for my whole life, so this is definitely new to me. But my new family were 100% accommodating and were very interested in me. Thirdly, my stepmom turned out to be a champ. One of the first things she did was introduce me and show everyone my Reddit post. It turned into a massive debate where nearly the whole family laid into dad, including my grandparents. At one stage, my uncle, a Redditor himself, pulled me aside and told me that, "Don't worry, mate. Your dad has always been a bit of a stubborn C-word. He'll get over it." Another amazing thing was when my nan said she knew my mom quite well, and we had a great chat about her. I think we broke dad in the process. My dad got very loud arguing with the family, and my uncle somehow trolled my dad into posting on Reddit to tell his side. He's been on his laptop in his study since then for nearly the whole night, glued to the screen. He didn't even come out for dinner. I've chosen not to read his thread, but I do know from other Redditors that he's getting absolutely wrecked. I don't know how this will end, but all I know is that I feel so much better. Whatever happens with dad, at least I have some amazing family members. Swapped some gamer tags with my cousins, and have reached some common ground with my stepmom. To think, all this started with a single Reddit post. I lack the words to describe how grateful I am. Thank you for your generosity, thank you for your love. I hope everyone out there can be as lucky as me and spend holidays with their loved ones. Sending you peace, love, and good vibes wherever you are. Now for some interesting twist, we're gonna read 2 posts from the dad concerning this incident to tell his side of the story. For the first one, am I the a-hole for asking my son to share his console with his brothers instead of keeping it in his room? A few days ago, my bias son Jonah, not real name, posted a biased and frankly defamatory post about an incident in my home regarding a PS5. My wife was kind enough to share the post and comments with our entire extended family at our Christmas gathering, so apparently now I'm a huge a-hole. My brother suggested that I post here to set records straight and give people both sides of the issue. Firstly, I never actually intended to charge Jonah rent. His job gives him essentially 100% disposable income purely because he lives in our household. He used this money to deck out his room, buy brand new shoes, buy the latest iPhone, etc., all for himself. I couldn't care less about how he spends his money, but it does set a poor example for my other 2 boys. The last straw was when Jonah set a login password for the PS5. I basically told him that if he's not willing to share, then why should I give him a free ride? My son should be grateful. While we shared DNA, I only dated his mom, May, not actual name, for all of 5 months back in uni. I was very clear with May that I didn't want kids, but apparently consent doesn't go both ways. May put me through legal hell and ended up costing me tens of thousands of dollars over the years in child support, setting my own goals back. Instead of letting Jonah end up in a group home, I stepped up and took him in when May got sick. Instead of gratitude, I constantly have to deal with disrespect and attitude. Because of Jonah, my wife thinks I breached her trust all for something that happened well before I met her. While the boys previously did have access to PS5, I now won't let them play it now that school is finished for the year unless he's home, which he never is. I gave him the ultimatum of either sharing the console or no one gets to play it. In response, he pulls the most passive-aggressive move ever and sold it, so now no one plays it. So listen, how am I the a-hole here? I've taken in this kid into my home, a kid who, by the way, will receive a sizable inheritance in a few years thanks to Mason's estate. I've given him a home, a family, and fund his lifestyle, all at the cost of my own relationship. In return, I haven't asked for a cent, and he won't treat me with respect nor follow my rules. But somehow I'm the giant a-hole who's in the study typing this out, instead of enjoying Christmas with my extended family. Instead of attacking me, I'm hoping people will now give their fair opinion of the situation based on seeing both sides of the story. You're the a-hole. I've given him a home. Newsflash, Dad. That's literally your job. Quit acting like you're doing some damn gift of charity for a kid you created. Reminds me of a time when I was broke and I asked my dad for money. After he gave it to me and I thanked him, he turned to me and said, "Never thank me. No matter how old you get, I'm still your father, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Hence why I spoil my parents like crazy whenever I can." My father has always said he has money in his pocket and a room in his house for all of us no matter what. He learned it from his parents. It's a no-brainer to him. Okay, clearly this hasn't gone down the direction I thought it would. Clearly some of you have issues with comprehension, or just can't be bothered reading my comments fully. I want to be clear. I never threatened to collect rent from Jonah. I don't need his part-time work money or about his inheritance money. I make a very good salary, probably more than the vast majority of people who use Reddit. I simply tried to explain to him that he has all this disposable income because he doesn't have to worry about basic needs. I didn't explain it properly at the time because we were arguing, but my intention wasn't for Jonah to give his PS5 to the kids permanently. I just wanted it to keep in a common area until I can buy another one for the kids. Jonah never told me about the controller. If he had, of course I would have replaced it. That's not an issue. I expected him to not be so selfish to his brothers. Keeping it in his room under password protection is so rude. Jonah gets home really late most days, so my kids are in bed by the time he gets back. I won't debate the nuances about sex and custody. I'm not an idiot. I understand perfect consent and parental responsibilities. I will just say that there is a large gap between consenting to be intimate versus consenting to having a child. I get that our current laws are against me on this one. I didn't intend to lie to my wife. Jonah and May were something way into the distant past for me. Our settlement agreement was very clear in that. I had absolutely zero communication with May or Jonah for at least the 10 years prior to finding about her illness. My child support was at a fixed rate, so I had actually paid her out a lump sum that was supposed to take care of him until 18. It wasn't like it was getting taken out of pay every week. As far as I knew, I was never supposed to hear from Jonah or May ever again. Why would I tell my wife about something like that? Yes, Jonah is a new addition to our family. Yes, I get all of this isn't his fault. I don't love him yet, and to be fair, he hasn't made it easy. I will try to. This thing takes time. You all act like it's easy. And now for another post from the dad that was posted very recently. Am I the a-hole for intercepting and eating my son's food delivery while he was grounded? My eldest son, 16, is undergoing a hormonal-fueled rebellious phase. His behavior consists of things like rolling his eyes when I talk, back-chatting when I tell him to do something, overemphasizing putting on his headphones when I enter the room, and a whole laundry list of other passive-aggressive behaviors. It was his birthday yesterday, but he was going to go out with his friends this weekend to celebrate by paintballing. However, when I got home from work yesterday, I noticed that he had failed to do some chores I had set him, and then did a whole headphones routine when I started telling him off for it. I got so sick of his attitude and that I threatened to ground him for 2 weeks, which means not letting him leave the house except for work. My words clearly cut through his headphones, and it dawned on him that he would not be allowed to go paintballing this weekend. So he took off his headphones and said, "Go screw yourself," and then shut himself in his room. This naturally led to his actual grounding. The grounding didn't seem to faze him as he spends a lot of time in his room anyway. I cut off his devices from our home Wi-Fi, but it works around this by having own hotspot. He refused to come out for dinner last night when my wife asked him to. It has basically barricaded himself in his room. At 10 p.m. last night, he ordered himself a meal via a delivery app. Again, he has clearly been passive-aggressive here, flaunting his independence as he has a perfected lovely meal in the fridge made by my wife. I was still up watching TV, so intercepted the delivery and ate the meal myself. At some point, my son must have come out and seen me, but retreated back to his room without saying anything. My wife thinks I am a major a-hole for eating the meal, but I think it comes part and parcel with the grounding. My wife also thinks I'm too harsh with him due to the grounding. I let him go to paintball if he apologizes. So am I the a-hole here, Reddit? You're the a-hole. Yeah, it's pretty weird that you ate the meal, an act that has no disciplinary value. Other options included putting it in the refrigerator for the next day and telling him not to order out when a prepared meal is available. Did it make you feel like a big man after he cursed at you? Oh, you're the dad who tried to steal his kid's PS5, then got ripped apart by your family and your wife. What did your brother call you again? A stubborn C-word? You're flexing here. You hate that your teenager who you gave a home to, father of the year by the way, is being backed up by everyone around you. So you're acting like, well, exactly like your brother described you. Grow up. You're the a-hole. Right? Like, didn't he even say that he couldn't find it in himself to actually love his own child? Yeah, no sympathy for me. OP, you're the a-hole.